Check, check, check. Can you hear me okay, Ski? Check, check, check. Can you hear me okay, Ski? I can hear me okay, Ski. Sean 1 trillion. Oh my god, they said there was a slim to no chance I'd get you in my chat. And here you are. Dominable? I haven't heard of Sean or Dominable in chat before, so we got 2 new guys. What's going on? I'm gonna see if this lines up correctly. I doubt it will, but fingers crossed. Calm down, chat. Here we go. Actually, I could probably move that down a little bit. Is that okay? Nice. I found your channel a few days ago and have been binging. Love the cards you're bringing to light and your love of Reanimator decks. Hey, appreciate you, my guy. I love your love of Reanimator decks. I'm in Straya, so I usually never catch streams. Watch all your videos, though. Thank you, Sean. It's very nice. Not to sound stupid, but where's Straya at? Bum, 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 bum. My geography is not my strong suit. I've got my strong suit at the wash. Oh, sorry. This stream is probably super confusing there. Okay. All right. You know how this goes. We were taking a look at 2 submissions for Friday Night Deck Reviews. We're going to look at them and see what they want. See what they want, all right? The first one we're going to look at is we're going to do Doom first. So we're going to look at Doom first. We're going to look at Wheelmaster's Dr. Doom deck. Right here it says, get Doom out early, start dumping out lands. Ideally have a way to get lands from graveyard or to play them by after discarding to not be starved. Sure. We'll see what that means in a little bit. His deck submission form, discard lands for payoff and ping the table. What does he do with lands? Whenever you discard 1 or more lands, each opponent loses 2. Ooh. Very gross. All caps when you spell the man's name. Sean, you're a real one, dude. You're a real one. Australia, very cool. Stream layout still has the Discord message from last stream, by the way. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ah. So it does. So we're going to have to rescale this real quick. So let me move this up to here. And then do that, I think. I think that's what I did. Let me make sure everything looks okay here. Here's the Doom deck. Let me switch to a visual grid. Okay, Doom deck pops up fine. Visual grid pops up fine, and then that works. Cool. Okay, we should be okay now. Let me mute this. Can we see chat? Can we see all the stuff we need to see here? I think we're good. I think we're good. Let me know if we're not, though. Dude, I wish the Doom cards were cooler. I feel like they didn't put as much into them as the other Marvel cards. Yeah, I like Doom a lot. I like the mono black Doom, but I totally get what you're saying. They are kind of underwhelming. Okay, discard payoffs, mainly Doom, but also combat damage from connived creatures. Favorite interaction, Library of Lang, with discarding a land to put it on the top, to draw it again, to discard it, to top again, and repeat. Yikes, that's disgusting. You're probably the one that recommended Library of Yang, whatever to me on the stream the other day, Wheelmaster. What do you hope to get from your review? To show off my deck, to get some new card recommendations, to raise the power level of my deck, and to get help cutting cards. And they are a Patreon and YouTube member, so big shouts out to Wheelmaster. And yeah, so he has a Doctor Doom deck. 1, a blue, a black, and a red for a 3/3. Whenever you discard 1 or more land cards, each opponent loses 2. That's such a good ability. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target villain you control gains menace until end of turn. It connives. Just give it to Doctor Doom. You know what I mean? You don't have to really make it a villain deck. I really like this. I actually might build this too, actually. I'm not... I like that. Do we have any tags? We do! Oh, what a G. Okay. So we got connive creatures. These are going to be, obviously, or not creatures, but cards that connive. 2 and 2 black, 3/3 death touch when body launderer enters the battlefield. Or, sorry, that's not what it does at all. Whenever another non-token creature dies. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me slow down a bit, alright? I always do this. I start the streams, I go way too quick. Body launderer. 2 and 2 black, 3/3 death touch. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, body launderer connives. Ooh. Ooh. I need to pick up a body launderer. I love connive. Connive is such a good mechanic. When body launderer dies, return another target non-rogue creature card with lesser power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very good. Change of plans is such a goated card, dude. Each of X target creatures you control connives and then phase them out. Sure. Copy Crook, 2 and 2 blue, 0/0, enters as a copy of something except it has when this creature attacks, it connives. Ledger Shredder, whenever anybody plays their second spell, connive. Mask of Schemers, connive X, where X is the damage dealt. And Norman Oswald, 1 and a blue, 1/1, can't be blocked. When it deals combat damage, connive. Pay 1 in Grixis to transform him into a 3/3 flying menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast. It's so good. Each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. The Mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost, which means you can cast the card from your graveyard for its Mayhem cost. If you discarded it this turn, timing rules still apply. That's such a good card. I wish I was more into Spider-Man, but that's a very good card. Discard outlets. Chainer can let us discard to play creatures from our graveyard until end of turn. Whenever a non-token creature we control enters, if we didn't cast it, it gains haste until end of turn. Ghostly Pilferer lets us discard cards to give it unblockable until end of turn. A Psychic Frog lets us discard cards to give it 1/1 counters. Putrid Imp lets us discard to give it 1/1 until end of turn. Seismic Assault lets us discard a land card to deal 2 damage to any target. Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to be good with our commander at all. Tortured Existence, discard a creature to return a creature. Yeah, those are all going to be very, very good. Tortured Existence doesn't necessarily work with the lands, which is a little awkward to me, but I'm sure there's a reason you got it in here. So we'll figure what that is. Off the rip, I don't see any lands with cycling. Feel like those would be great. Oh, wait, are there actually not any lands with cycling? There has to be, right? Wow, yeah, those would be fantastic in here. Cycling lands would be real good. I'm here now, not too late. Hey, bro started early. I did start early, dude. It's one of those nights. I'm feeling good tonight. I was sitting around. I was like, I should have my stuff caught up today that I needed done. And I was like, I'm just gonna start early, dude. I'm feeling good tonight. Okay. Yeah, I may have oopsied with that. Tortured can bring back the good creatures if they die. Fair. I do have a card that all lands have cycling. That's very good as well. Discard payoffs. Whenever you discard a creature card, Bone Miser, you get a 2/2. Land card, get 2 lands. Non-creature, non-land, draw a card. Containment, you can exile stuff you discard and play it until end of turn. Green Goblin Nemesis. 2 black, red, 3/3 flying. Whenever you discard a non-land card, put a 1/1 counter on Green Goblin. Or no, on target Goblin you control. So probably it. Whenever you discard a land card, create a tapped creature or treasure token. That's very good. Magmakin Artillerist, 2 in a red, 1/4. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, this creature deals that much damage to each opponent. Monument of Endurance, we all know what this does. Discard a card, you can choose one, draw a card, create a treasure token, each opponent loses 3. And Surly Badgesaur, whenever you discard a creature card, put a 1/1 counter on it. Whenever you discard a land card, create a treasure token. Whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, it fights something. Surly Badgesaur is really good. I've never made that akin to Bone Miser, but definitely is really, really good. As far as card draw is concerned, Green Goblin Revenant, 3 a black and a red for a 3/3 flying death touch. When it attacks, discard a card, draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. It's pretty good. Kefka, 2 in Grixis for a 4/5. When it attacks or enters, each player discards a card, then you draw a card for each card type among the cards discarded this way. That's really good. Pay 8 to each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice, then transform Kefka into a 5/7 flying. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. Hey, gross. Read the Bones, Sign in Blood, Fairy's Ageless Insight, doubles our draws. Valakut Awakening, put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom and draw that many. And Valakut Exploration turns our landfall into Impulse Draw and our Impulse Draw into damage. It's pretty good. As far as lands are concerned, like they said, we definitely need some cycling lands in here. Seems very, very good. Let me see if chat's messed up real quick. Okay. Anvil of Bogarden. 2 for an artifact. Each player skips his or her draw step. During each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card and chooses and discards a card. Yeah, that's I need one of those for whatever. One of you guys recommended it for Emmett Selch, and I really do need one. $40 though. It's crazy. Assassin Gauntlet, 2 and a blue. Artifact equipment. When Assassin Gauntlet enters the battlefield, attach it up to 1 target creature. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Target opponent controls. Equipped creature gets 1/1 and has whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, discard a card. Sure. I split up forms of draw, discard, but I don't know if it's needed. It was me, but it was 40. Now it's 37. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo. Looter Ilkor, 1 in a blue, 1/1 shadow. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card and discard a card. And Rona Herald of Invasion. Why not, instead of Looter Ilkor, why not run like the one that Likeness Looter? Likeness Looter real good. 1/1 flyer, tap, becomes copies of stuff. Always good. Pings, cool but rude. 1 in a red for whenever you attack, you may discard a card and draw a card. For level 1, level 2 is 1 in a red. Whenever you discard a card, this class deals 2 damage to each opponent. That's really good in this deck. Level 3, 1 in a red. Whenever this class becomes level 3, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, shuffle, then discard a card at random. That's a pretty freaking good card. Do you have a Censar deck submitted? It should appear because I did last Sunday. Let me see. Sanar? A Sanar deck submitted? I'm not sure off the top of the cuff, but let me check for you really quick. Sanar deck. Yep. It is the last deck that I have submitted here. Sanar and Friends. I do have it. That should be in the next couple of weeks. There is a schedule for what I'm going to be looking at on the Discord. I'll post it to the community tab tonight. Just for the one hit of the cards, I have like Assassins for the other one. My Scornful Striker. 1 in a black for a 2/2 first strike. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2. That's such a good card. Shieldred the Apocalypse. 2 and 2 red for a 4/5. I mean, like, is there not a black-red deck that runs like Hexing Squelcher and Mai? And just tries to like lock the board down with them? Shieldred the Apocalypse. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 1 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. I need one of those really bad, but it's an $88 card. Academia's Awakening. Good way to protect and recur some of your threats. Brotherhood Regalia, great protection and evasion. Change of Plans, let stuff phase out. Lightning Greaves, good Shroud. Malakir Rebirth, let stuff come back. Rise from the Dark Realms, lets everything come back under your control. Wing Boots, good evasion plus ward 4. Ramp, we got Crucible of Worlds, because when we're discarding these lands with our commander and all of our effects in our deck, we can go ahead and just play them back into play with Crucible. Professor gives us a treasure token and then lets us impulse draw off treasures. Soul Ring, the Soul Stone, and Wayfarer's Bauble for ramp. For removal, we got Aether Tide. Choose and discard X cards. Return X creature cards to their owner's hand. That's actually really good in here. Damn. Blasphemous Act, 13 to everybody. Blasphemous Edict, 13 creatures. Fell the Profane, destroy something, destroy something, destroy something, counter something, destroy something, counter something, counter something, or return something, blow something up, or blow everything up. Retrieval, we already looked at Containment, we already looked at Crucible. Library of Lang is the one that they brought up on their submission. 1 for an artifact, you may skip your discard phase of your turn. If a card forces you to discard, you may choose to discard the top card of your library rather to graveyard. If a discard is normal, you may look at the card before deciding where to discard it. So the combo they were talking about involving this is Library of Lang, discarding a land to put it on the top. Why do we put it on top? If a card forces you to discard a card, you may choose to discard 2 top of library. Ooh. Discarding a land to put it on top. To draw it again, to discard it, to put it on top. Yeah, that's just a repeatable Doctor Doom trigger with that. That's real good. Rummaging effects. Ashling rekindled, enters or transforms. You discard a card, then draw a card. Transforms into a 1/3. Whenever this creature transforms into this side at the beginning of your first main phase, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast spells with mana value 4 or greater. Conspiracy Theorist lets you draw a card, discard a card, and play stuff you discard. Cool, but rude. Wait, he doesn't let you play stuff, does he? Oh yeah, he lets you play stuff you discard. That's really good. Fear of Missing Out. 1 in a red, 2/3. When Fear of Missing Out enters, discard a card and draw a card. Whenever Fear of Missing Out attacks, for the first time each turn, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. That seems good. Green Goblin we looked at. Kefka we looked at. Ret Tome Mystic is the one that gives each creature... Oh, this gives each creature in your hand cycling. That's really good. But still, it doesn't give your lands, so that's a little weird. Shadow of the Goblin. I think you could probably get rid of Ret Tome, if I'm being honest. Shadow of the Goblin, 1 in a red enchantment at the beginning of your first main phase. Discard a card. If you do draw a card, whenever you play a land or cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, this enchantment deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's very good. And then, of course, Wheel of Misfortune, a good old wheel. Untagged creatures, Emmett Selch. Untagged enchantments, Drake Haven. Untagged sorceries, Dream Harvest. What does Dream Harvest do? Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they have exiled cards with total mana value 5 or greater. This way, until end of turn, you may cast cards this way without paying their mana cost. Oh, I need to pick one of these up. That's such a cool way to like bring home a game. Emmett's a good looter. I'm actually running Emmett right now, or trying to. I'm trying to figure out what that deck's going to be, actually. Because every time I play it, I'm like, I just want to put a lot of this into my Taval deck, honestly. Hades, you can play stuff from your graveyard. And Drake Haven turns your discards into Drakes. And we got 43 sideboard cards. Holy! Alright, we're going to blast through these really quick. We've got Alien Symbiosis. Gives a 1/1 menace. It's symbiote in addition to its other types. When it goes to the graveyard, you may cast it from your graveyard by discarding a card. Cool. Discard a card to switch its power. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile it. You can sack it to get all the stuff back. Baron, whenever you cast a black spell from your hand, Baron Helmut Zemo Connives. Exile any number of black cards from your graveyard with 15 or more black mana symbols among them. You may cast those cards. Wait, what? Copy those exiled cards. You may cast up to 3 of the copied cards without paying its mana cost. Huh. It's a cool mono black commander. I like that. Black Cat. Whenever Black Cat enters, look at the top 9 cards of your library. Exile 2 of them face down. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. In any order. You may play the card for as long as they remain exiled. Mana of any type can be used to cast them. Sure. Lose life. They lose twice that much life. Discard a card to add 3. I think that's very good. Bog Witch should probably be put in the deck, I would say. Bog Witch seems very good. Same with Braylon. Whenever you discard a card, put a 1/1 counter and do 1 damage to each opponent. Bog Witch and Braylon definitely need to go in here. Breast Dealer's Crypt's good. I don't know if it necessarily needs to go in here. Captain Howler's very good. It's a very good card in here. Complete a good counterspell. Deadpool's whatever. Doc Ock's Henchman, 2 in a blue, 2/1 flash. Whenever this creature attacks Connives. Yeah, nah, whatever. Emmett Selch. I don't think you need to run Emmett Selch in here. That one at least. Glinthorn Buccaneer definitely needs to go in here. Glinthorn, Braylon, and Bog Witch definitely need to go in. Inner Demon Gangsters, whatever. Kildrick Parasite, sure. Likeness Looter definitely goes in. Rapid Hype is bad, but I like it. I love Rapid Hybridization. Murder of Crows. I guess I was thinking Seismic Assault. It's not cycling, but outlet, I guess. There is one that gives all your lands in your hand cycling, though. What is that? I'm like 99% sure there is a card that does that. Is it have or gain? Aggressive mining. You can't play lands, sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards, activate only once each turn. That's not the one I was thinking of, though. There's one that's like 3 red, and it like let you discard a card. Maybe I am thinking of the same thing. Maybe I'm just thinking of that seismic card. I swore though. Mogus, God of Slaughter, No Mercy, Uda's Backguard, Plague Drone, Pongify, Prowler, Psionic Pumpkin Bombs. Discard 2 cards, draw 3 cards, then put a fuse counter on this artifact. It deals damage equal to the number of fuse counters on its target opponent, then gain control of this artifact. Pumpkin Bombs is pretty spicy. Put a 1/1 counter of knives. Sure. I don't think you need like the villain stuff. That's whatever. Trade routes is okay. Ultimate Green the Goblin's okay. Windfall is fantastic in here. I would say Windfall is a must that you should put in. Glint Hook Buccaneer is a definite must, and what was the other one? Braylon and Bog Witch. I think those are both very, very good too. Palladium Mirror. What's up, my guy? How are you? Marchesa is amazing with the zombies from Amonkhet. Ooh. Okay, we'll get some suggestions for that here in a little bit. I forgot the mechanic. Oh, like a mass or whatever? Was it Tectonic Reformation? Yes. 1 in a red enchantment. Each land in your hand has cycling 1 red, cycling 2. Is this already in the deck? I didn't think so. Yeah, that's a good one. Tectonic Reformation is fantastic. I swear I had that, but I couldn't find it either. Yeah, that's very, very good. That'd definitely be great. Let me look at my Emmett Selch list. There might be a couple things in here that are good for this deck. How often are you at 0 cards in your hand? Like when you cycle? Or do you like pretty much always have a pretty full grip? Not full, but not empty. Okay. That's fair. It's fair. I was gonna say something like Blood Scavenger might be okay if you're empty a lot of the time, so that when you discard for a cycling on an empty hand, you can just draw an extra one. But I don't know how actually useful that is. Oh, that actually might be pretty good in here. Ooh, that's not bad either. Couple of good things in here, I think. That might be worth considering too. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of stuff in here I think would be good. 1 second. That's a great card. You've already got Bone Miser. That seems really good too. I really like these 2 cards. I don't know how. I think those are pretty fucking good in your deck too, actually. Okay. I've got some good suggestions for you. Okay, Starscream was a unit when I was goldfishing this deck. I think it'd be pretty good in yours too. 3 in a black, 2/3 flying. When you draw a card, if you're the monarch, target opponent loses 2. Whenever 1 or more creatures deals combat damage, convert Starscream, or you can just play it for 2 in a black converted. And it's a 2/3 flying menace haste. When it deals combat damage to somebody, that person becomes the monarch. And then when you become the monarch, you can convert Starscream. So you make someone else the monarch, and then once you can become the monarch again, it flips back and turns all your draws into 2 damage. Which when you're cycling lands and drawing cards, I think Starscream could be actually pretty gross in your deck. Starving Revenant's another one that I think's good. 2 and 2 black, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Then for each card you put into your library, you draw a card and lose 3. Whenever you draw a card, if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. So it becomes a little draw damage engine, which again, when you're discarding a bunch of lands and drawing a card, it's pretty good. Mirror Room seems good in this deck because when it enters, you get to create a token copy of a creature you control. So you can make a copy of Starving Revenant. You can make a copy, not of Starscream because he's a legendary. Let me see what you can make a copy of before I suggest this full on. You can make a copy of Body Launderer. You can make a copy of Bone Miser, which alone seems worth it. Conspiracy Theorist. Ghostly Pilferer, Fear of Missing Out. Ledger Shredder, again, seems very worth it. Magmar Artillerist seems very, very worth it. Another Professional Facebreaker is always good. A second Surly Badgesaur seems good. But that's just one side of the card. The 2 and a blue makes a token copy, but the other side of it, for 5 and 2 blue, you can unlock it later on in the game. If a triggered ability of a permanent you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So your Dr. Doom at the beginning of your combat ability will trigger additional time, and so will your whenever you discard 1 or more lands. Those will both trigger an additional time. So I think that's just a good card. The Mirror Room, I think that's just a good one. Let's see. Winter Night Stories is another one I think would be good in here. 2 and a blue, sorcery, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 unless you discard a creature, and it has Harmonize for 4 and a blue, so you can cast it from your graveyard. You may tap a creature you control, and it costs X less, where X is that creature's power. So just a good card draw piece that also has you discarding. You think getting more copies, or 1 or 2? Or just that one specifically? I don't know about getting more copy effects. I just like Mirror Room because a lot of the time the Fractured Realm ends up being like a game-winning effect. And if you just have like a early game clone effect stapled onto it, I just don't have a problem with running like just Mirror Room in a lot of my stuff that I end up throwing that into. Vohar seems pretty good in your deck. Real. Blue-black for a 1/2. You can tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. If you discarded an instant or sorcery, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. So again, just adding on to that whole, like, people are just losing life for stuff being discarded thing. Pay 2, sacrifice him. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard, and then it goes to exile instead after you cast it. Just a great card. A looter, built-in pinger, built-in recursion, all on a 2-drop. Vohar is great. Forgotten Creation's a very interesting one. 3 and a blue, 3/3 Skulk. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand. If you do, draw that many cards. In this deck, actually, I don't think this is that good in this deck because it only does 2, right? Yeah, it only does 2, so that's not the best card in this deck. Forget that one. And then I think that was all of them. Oh, one more. Spirit Water Revival. I think Spirit Water would be pretty good. 1 and 2 blue, sorcery. You draw 2 cards at its base level, but if you can waterbend 6, you shuffle your graveyard, shuffle your hand, and you draw 7, and then you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. So if you've been cycling a lot of your lands, and you're going to want to shuffle those lands back into your deck so you can start drawing more and discarding more, I think Spirit Water Revival is kind of a neat... One, it's just a card draw piece. It's just a 3-drop draw. It's just a divination at its worst. At its best, it's like a reset button to get all your lands back in your deck and draw 7 cards. I think Spirit Water is great. Very, very fun card. Anyone else in chat got any suggestions here? I forgot I had half an Uncrustable. Scourge Familiar. That's a good one, Yorsum. 4 and a black, flying, discard a card, add a black. It's pretty gross. Seismic Assault. I thought that was already in here. Yeah, Seismic Assault's fantastic. Discard a land, deal 2 damage. That's not in here? That's crazy. Oh, it is. I was going to say, I'm like, that's like a perfect card. Murder of Crows. 3 and 2 blue, 4/4 flying. Whenever another creature dies, you may draw a card and discard a card. Ooh. Little looter engine, but it's also a pinger engine in this deck. Little discard land engine, little 4/4 flyer piece. Murder of Crows is sick. It's actually a fire card. I wish you could run a Eula's Influence, dude. That'd be sick. Call of Bloodblind's interesting. 1 in a black enchantment, pay 1, discard a card, put a 1/1 vampire into play with lifelink. That's actually not bad. Yorsum says Raven's Crime. 1 black sorcery, target player discards a card, retrace. You may cast a spell from your graveyard by discarding a land card in addition to paying its other cost. Retrace is great. Yorsum, that's super big brain. Retrace. ID Grixis. That's actually big brain. Cascade with Retrace. Exile the top 2 cards of your deck with Retrace. Discard all the cards in your hand and then draw that many with Retrace. Deal 1 damage with Retrace. Draw a card with Retrace. Target player loses 2 and you gain 2 with Retrace. So in this deck, it's target player loses 2, takes 2, and you gain 2 with Retrace. Oh, yikes. That's really good. Retrace, oh my gosh. 300 IQ. Yeah, for real, Yorsum. That's a very good mechanic in this list. Yeah, any of these would be great. Good stuff, Yorsum. Good stuff, pal. Yeah. Nice stuff. Nice going, bud. That's crazy. It's actually very good in this. Ooh. Oh, never mind. Chakra Meditation. 2 in a blue enchantment. When this enchantment enters, return up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card, then discard a card unless there are 3 or more lessons in your graveyard. So all your instants and sorceries become loots. How many instants and sorceries do you run in here? Ugh. 11. You run 21. 21. You run 21 instants and sorceries. I mean, like, turning every one of those into a built-in loot. I feel like that's pretty good, actually. Chakra Meditation's pretty good. I like that. Ooh. Ooh. Here we go. Chamber of Manipulation, dude. Enchant land. Enchant land has tap, discard a card from your hand, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Tell me that's not sick. Start utilizing the best stuff on board by discarding a land. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a real crime that we don't have a commander that gives cards in your graveyard retrace. Oh. Mm-hmm. That'd be a sick commander. Dire Undercurrents is interesting. Your blue creatures have you draw a card, and your black creatures have target player discard a card. So you could just get a bunch of card draw off this for your blue creatures. Black creatures, you could be discarding your own cards, targeting yourself with it to discard lands. Or if you don't have the lands, just start targeting opponents with this to get them to discard too. That's interesting. Well, it's not interesting, isn't it? Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, create a tapped 2/2 zombie token. That seems good in your deck, actually. For the amount of, like, individual discards that you're doing. That seems like you'll get a ton of zombies off this. On issue with that kind of mind control is that they don't gain haste. So best value be surprise blocker or removing if a blocker. I was thinking like stuff with really good activated abilities that are in play. That you could like steal and then like milk the activated. Be like, ooh, a Viscera Seer, I'm going to yoink that and then use it to trigger some of my death stuff or something like that. What about Faith of the Devoted? Is that in here? Because that seems very good. Faith of the Devoted needs to go in here, dude. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you can pay 1. Each opponent loses 2 and you gain 2. That's nuts in here. Yorsum. What about Archfiend of Ifnir and Faith the Devoted? Yeah, Faith the Devoted seems fantastic. Ifnir seems great in here, dude. Whenever you discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each of your opponent's creatures. That's actually gross in your deck. That might be one of the most like powerful cards in your deck. Archfiend is game winning. Yeah, literally. Fan Daniel? What the hell is that? 4 and a black, 4/5. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, surveil one. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent may sacrifice a non-token creature of their choice. Each opponent who doesn't loses 2 life. Each instant or sorcery card for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Whoa. That's a good ass card. Yikes. It's a lot of damage. Doesn't 6 give retrace to your graveyard cards? Oh yeah, 6 does give retrace. Yes, it does. Seemed a bit mean. Same with Shieldred, but I have it, I guess. Fair. Archfiend is just disgusting card, like game changer for real. Fan Daniel. What up, G? Oh, just non-land permanents, yeah. Fan Daniel seems sick. It seems really good. All my homies hate Fan Daniel. This sounds like a Adventure Time episode. Fan Daniel, dude. Of course. Where's my phone? Wait, that's true. Oh, it fell on the ground. I see. I don't know what's going on with my stomach. But boy, oh boy, is my stomach tender today. Call me a chicky tendy. Okay. Put that on a shirt. All my homies hate Fan Daniel. All right. Got any more suggestions? I feel like we got through this pretty quick, but to be fair, I did go through the deck at like light speed for some reason. I was going ADD as hell at the beginning of this. This seems like a fun monocolored deck to build. I normally don't build monocolored decks, but Fan Daniel seems fun actually. All my homies hate Fan Daniel. Yeah, all my homies hate Fan Daniel. Yeah, all my homies hate Fan Daniel. I will always suggest Collector's Vault for discard strategies. Oh, what about the register one? Like that cash register thing. Tap it, draw a card, then discard a card, create a treasure token. Seems good. Surveil isn't discard, so I don't know, right? Fair. Fan Daniel for this list specifically, I agree. I don't know if it necessarily goes in here. What's the little cash register thing? Oh, it's currency converter. That seems good. 1 for an artifact. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. Tap 2, tap it, draw a card, discard a card, tap it, put a card exiled with currency converter into your graveyard. If it's a land card, create a treasure token. If it's a non-land card, make a 2/2. So your lands just become treasure tokens that you're discarding. That seemed pretty good. I was thinking about it more to help with burn damage. Fair. Currency converter seems like a must add, right? It's like a $13 card. That's crazy. Very, very good though. Would Wonderscape Sage be good? Might be tricky. I don't think I've ever heard of this card. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 flying. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Draw a card, then discard a card unless that land has a non-basic land type. That seems great. That's just a good way to just like this is like a tap, deal 2 damage to an opponent in this deck. Just a good way to get a land into your hand and then discard it. That's great. I like that a lot in here actually. I do not need to walk the land to find my way. Damn right, Wonderscape Sage. Damn right. All right. We're moving on to the next deck, which is... Let me get it queued up here. Donut Rings, the Phantom of the Black Rose Marchesa list. Dreamscape Artist. Oh, yeah. Wait, don't you have to tap a green for Dreamscape Artist? Why did I think Dreamscape Artist you had to tap 2 and a green to activate? It's 2 and a blue. Discard a card. Sacrifice a land. Search your library for 2 land. That seems great in your deck. Ooh, good last suggestion. That's actually really, really good. That's perfect in here. Okay, let me see here. Wait, that's not the deck, is it? It was 12, I think. Or was that Dr. Doom? That was Doom. Which one was the Marchesa deck? Let me find real quick. There it was. Okay. So Donut Ring, his Marchesa deck is a Spirit Kindred, so a Spirit Tribal deck, +1/+1 counter deck. And it is an optimized casual deck. Win condition, going wide and out-resourcing your opponents, I guess. Favorite interaction, Thran Vigil plus Sackboys plus Persist creatures. Fair. What do you hope to get from your review? To show off my deck, to get some new card recommendations, to raise the power level of my deck, and to get help cutting cards from my deck. Oh yeah, if you have any suggestions for cards to cut off the last one, drop them in the comments. My bad. I always forget about the cutting cards aspect. Although I did suggest a couple. Which type of member of you? A Patreon member. Donut Ring, big shouts out. And we'll read this little thing as well. The Phantom of the Black Rose. Read like a salesman. Have you ever enjoyed playing spirit creatures, but some big fat meanie ghost busted on your ghastly phantom? Oh, hold on a second. But for some reason, your spectral buddy doesn't come back from the grave like a real ghost? Well, do I have the commander for you? Marchesa the Black Rose. Oh, not Snap. Slaps the back of her head. This bad girl can fit so much ectoplasm you would think she won the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. That's pretty good. Recreate all your lovable moments from Paranormal Activity by dragging your opponents across the battlefield and into the graveyard. So come and give this haunted house a try with Marchesa the Black Rose as your tour guide. Dude, you should just take my job, dude. Just take my job, dude. Shit. Okay. Okay. So Marchesa the Black Rose. 1 and a Grixis for a 3/3 dethrone. Other creatures you control have dethrone, which means if they're attacking the player with the most life or tied for the most life, they get a 1/1 counter. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next untap step. Very busted. Is it organized? It is! Okay. Kamiya Celebration, 1/1 counters. Whenever a modified creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Lethal Scheme has Convoke, and it also lets everything that convoked it connive. Patrician Geist, 2 and a blue for a 2/2. Other spirits get +1/+1. Spells you cast from grave cost 1 less to cast. Supreme Phantom is 1 and a blue for a 1/3. Other spirits get +1/+1 because, again, we're spirit tribal as well. Thran Vigil, whenever one or more artifacts or creatures leave your graveyard, you can put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Is that worth running in Taval? Nah. Just one for reanimation, isn't. Thundering Raju's nuts. 2 and 2 red, 3/3. It gets a 1/1 counter and does X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Raju. So gross. Uncivil. I don't know why I said unsolicited. Uncivil Unrest. This card is disgusting. 4 and a red enchantment. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. If a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it would deal damage to a permanent or player, it does double that damage. Sure. Unspeakable Sigil. Pay 3 life. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Plenty of ways to get the 1/1 counters here. Board wipes, Blasphemous Act, Blasphemous Edict, Ryusu, the Falling Star, and Toxic Deluge. As far as card advantage, I'm here. What did I miss? King of Dreams. We were just moved on to the second deck, King of Dreams, so you're at a perfect time. We just started the second list, which is a Marchesa deck. It's a Marchesa +1/+1 counter Spirit Tribal deck. So pretty cool. Card advantage, we've got a Atsushi dying to exile the top 2. Disciple can sack something to draw X, gain X. Flame of Anor can have us draw 2 cards, destroy an artifact, or deal 5. Flame of Duplication can copy target spell. Ghostly Pilfer lets us draw a card when it untaps, right? Yep, if we pay 2, or whenever a card is played from anywhere other than a hand. I don't know how this card is $2, but sure. Gravelighter has everyone sack a creature, and then if you... If it enters the battlefield, draw a card if a creature died this turn. Otherwise, each player sacks a creature. I did not realize it did that. That is really cool. Kamiya Celebration, 4 and a red, 3/3. Whenever a modified creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. We already read that one, but it's such a good card. I forgot I read it, and then halfway through I was like, yes, I remember this. This was busted. Lelia, the Blade Reforged, speaking of busted, she's so good. 2 and a red, 2/2 haste. When she attacks, exile the top card you can play it until end of turn. Whenever you play, or whenever one or more cards are put into exile from your library, it gets a 1/1 counter. I thought you had to play them. She's even better than I thought. Lethal Schemes, Plumb the Forbidden. Sacrifice any number of creatures to lose 1 and draw 1 for each creature you sacked. Sachiro, whenever anything enters from anywhere other than a hand, you draw a card. Scornblade Berserk, 1 black, 0/1, backup 1, pay 1, sacrifice this creature, draw a card. I think this could go. I think Scornblade could probably go for something else. So far, that's like the only one that I've seen. Seize the Spotlight, 2 and a black or 2 and a red for a sorcery. Each opponent chooses Fame or Fortune. For each player who chose Fame, gain control of target creature that player controls until end of turn. Untap those creatures that gain haste. For each player who chose Fortune, you draw a card and create a treasure token. That's pretty good, actually. Sephiroth is fantastic. 2 and a black, 3/3. When it enters or attacks, you can sack a creature to draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses, or target opponent loses 1, sorry, and you gain 1. If this is the 4th time it's resolved, it turns into a 5/5 flying. As this creature transforms, you get an emblem that is a Blood Artist, and then when it attacks, you can sacrifice any number of creatures to draw that many cards. It's such a good card. Such a good card. Counter Magic, we've got an Offer You Can't Refuse, Delay, Flare of Denial, and Mausoleum Wanderer. Guest, just like stuff that you like want to run. I don't know what Guest is. Bogart Taller, exile graves on a land, sure. Gao or Gau, what is this? You can sack the Scorn on attack to draw. Yeah, I just think you get a better card. I think we could swap Scorn out for something else. Gal, Feral Youth, 1 and a red, 2/2. When it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, if your card left your graveyard this turn, Gal deals damage equal to its power. That's such a good card. Oh, if that was in Taval. Oh, if that was in Taval, it'd be so good. Hagra Constrictor enters with 2/1/1s. Each creature you control with a 1/1 has menace. Iron enters with a 1/1. When it dies, if it had counters on it, move it to something else. And then Riku, whenever you put 1 or more counters on something until end of turn, that creature can't be blocked. That's so good. That's actually disgusting. And Steel, pay 1, tap it, move a counter from target creature you control. An opponent controls onto target creature you control. She's a great card. Well, that's just a good card. Guest Sack Boys. Oh, guest at the house. These are the guests at the house, at the haunted house, I think. Disciple can sack something to draw, gain. Goblin Bombardment sacks something to deal damage. Gravelighter we read. Ruthless Technomancer can sack X artifacts to return a creature with power X or less from your graveyard. Scornblade can sack to draw a card. Sephiroth we read. Warren can sack to create a treasure token. And Yahenni can sack to give indestructible and gets bigger the more creatures die. For protection, we've got Bolt Bend, Rattle Chains, giving our spirits hexproof, Redirect Lightning, Slip Out the Back, and Swiftfoot Boots. And then for ramp, we've got Arcane Signet, Atsushi, Felwar Stone, Soul Ring, Talisman, Warren, and then Reanimation. Love Reanimation. Junji the Midnight Sky. When it dies, you can return a non-dragon creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Reanimate, Ruthless Technomancer, and Unforgiving One is actually sick in this deck. 2 and a black, 2/3 Menace. Whenever Unforgiving One attacks, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the number of modified creatures you control. Unforgiving One's really, really good. Targeted removal: Bogart Trawler, Cemetery Illuminator, Flame of Honor, Flare of Malice, Kyrie the Swirling Sky, Kaega the Tide Star, Ko the Face Stealer, Lethal Schemer, Nabelgast Herald, Rakdos Charm, Screaming Nemesis, Skyfire Kirin, and Yuki Onna. Because of all the spirit stuff, Skyfire is actually disgusting as removal in here. And then the Haunted House. This is all the stuff that is in the Haunted House. Atsushi, Cemetery Illuminator, Ghostly Pilferer, Graveglider, Junji, Kairi, Kami, Kaega, Kiri, Ko, Kokusho, jeez, there's a lot of Ks. Lelia, Mausoleum Wanderer, Nabelgast Herald, Patrician Geist, Rattle Chains, Ryusi, Screaming Nemesis, Skyward Kirin, Supreme Phantom, Thundering Raiju, Unforgiving One, Vengeful Ancestor, and Yuki Onna. This is hilarious. What a badass haunted house. Like, my haunted house has a bunch of cool dragons in it. I think anyone would want to go to that. That's fire. We got some great lands, but I saw this in the sideboard. I love this guy. Death Rattle Oni. Cost 2 less for each creature that died. 5/4 flash. When it enters, destroy all creatures that were dealt damage this turn. You just block with all your tokens on a bunch of big stuff, and then you get a free pretty much 5/4 that blows it all up. It's so good. Agent of Shadows, get more 1/1 counters. Devouring Greed, whatever. I don't think you need Devouring. At the beginning of each upkeep, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a 1/1 counter on a creature. Yeah, whatever. Flare of Hatebound. Creature, another creature enters the battlefield. Wait. Whenever this creature or another creature enters from your graveyard, it deals damage equal to its power to target. I mean, that's fantastic in your deck. And it has Undying. Flare of the Hatebound needs to go in there. So does Herald of Secret Streams. Oh. Those two, you need to make room for those. Those are good. Last Malignus, whatever. Midnight Banshee. River Kelpie is very, very good. I would also suggest that going in there. Stance board. Between each end step of a creature died this turn, put a counter on it. Add an X or X the number of soul counters on it. Spends like instant sorcery, demons, spirit spells. That's pretty good. With the amount of spirits you're running, I mean, that's a pretty good mana ramp piece. Genuinely. Blocked by creature, switch its power. Whatever. Urborg Scavengers. Exile target card from a graveyard. Put a 1/1 counter on Urborg Scavengers. Urborg Scavengers flying as long. I don't like cards like that. They're okay. Wan Chi Tong. Doesn't work in the deck very well. Return each creature without a 1/1 counter on it to its owner's hand. I think Wave Goodbye is very good in this deck. I think Wave Goodbye, River Kelpie, and Flare and Herald. I think those 4 get put in here for sure. Let me look at my Arna deck. I actually might have some. All I can recommend is black blue, but I'm pretty sure I've got some good black blue 1/1 counter stuff. Maybe I don't, maybe I do. Oh, yeah, that seems like a good one. Moira Urborg Gaunt. Urborg Haunt. 2 in a black, 3/2 menace. When Moira Urborg Haunt deals combat damage to a player, return to the battlefield target creature card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. It's not bad. It'll like help you make the stuff that didn't have 1/1 counters on it come back anyway. That seems really good. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, she's a wizard. I thought she was a rogue. Does this give... No. Ooh, that's a really good one too, though. I got some good stuff for you here, I think. Okay. I've got a few cards here that I think are good in your deck. I think Silent Hall Creeper is really good. 1 in a blue, 1/1 can't be blocked. When it deals combat damage to a player, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Put 2 1/1 counters on it. Draw a card. Have it become a copy of another creature you control. So eventually, this will just become a copy of whatever creature you control that's 2 power bigger than the creature is normally. 2 power by getting 1/1 counters, which will interact with Marchesa really well, and it'll also draw you a card. That seems very, very good in this list. What else do we have in chat here? Hey, love the channel. Could you take a look at one of my decks? Yeah, if you are a YouTube member or a Patreon member, you can there's a little deck submission form where you can fill it out and submit it, and then I will look at your deck when we get to it, because we got about 10 more decks to get through right now in the list. But if you get it in there early is better than never. Bloodline bidding. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. 6 in 2 black, sorcery convoke. Choose a creature type. Return all creatures of the chosen type from your graveyard into play. That's fantastic. Okay, sounds good. Heck yeah, Zach. Bloodline bidding seems really good in this deck, actually. Like, actually gross. Oh yeah, Sir Conrad. Another good one, 3 Hoenn. Sir Conrad will get 2 triggers when a creature with a +1 dies. Yeah, because it'll die, go to grave, then come back. Ooh. That's really good, actually. I was also thinking Polywog Prodigy would be really good. 1/3 evolve whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value less than Polywog Prodigy's power, draw a card. So a lot of your stuff's going to evolve this anyway, but then it will have ways to get counters on it past that. And then you'll be drawing a ton of cards. And then also, I think Drana is very good in this list. 1 and 2 black, 2/3, first strike flying. When Drana, Liberator of Malakir, deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on each attacking creature you control. Yeah, they just get minus. They just get 1/1s. Seymour Flux, 4 and a black for a 5/5 legendary creature spirit avatar. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a 1/1 counter on Seymour Flux. That's really good in this deck. It's just like not gonna die with Marchesa out and just guarantee you card draw and just guarantee you a huge creature. Especially if you run do you run a Rogue's Passage? You need a Rogue's Passage in here. You're a 1/1 counter deck, dude. You're going to get one of your things big enough and then just boom, Rogue's Passage. Put that in here. Along with Seymour Flux. Me, when I eat too much red sauce, dude, I Seymour Flux. That's for sure. Amaras Ghostfire, you can put +1 on the manifest and they come back on the front side, right? Oh, they totally do. That's actually genius. 2x00, when it enters with X 1/1 counters on it. When you put 1 or more 1/1 counters on another colorless creature, you may put a 1/1 counter on Amariths. When Amariths dies, manifest a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of counters on it. Yeah, so you manifest a shit ton off the top when it dies, and then you'll just throw 1/1 counters on your board with the dethrone. And then when the stuff dies manifested, it'll come back because it had a 1/1 counter on it, but it'll come back flipped. So that'll be a sick way to cheat some stuff into play. That's actually really cool tech. I like that. You're loyal. I like that. What a cool card. Ooh, Black Betty. I thought his name was Amaranth. It's Amarthus. Oh, Black Betty. Amarthus. Oh, Black Betty. Amarthus. Amarthus had a card. Ghostfire. Amarthus went wild. Sorry. 1,000 apologies. What else would be good in here? What about a couple of cards that like let you pay life? So you can like keep yourself low enough to get dethroned if you need to. You already have Toxic Delusion there. That's a great way to do it. What about Phyrexian Reclamation? Just to keep some of your stuff that does go away because it didn't have counters. Keep recursion for that and keep a way to pay life so you can keep your dethrone. That's interesting. Or just run this. Run Vithis as a way to get your life. You use the pay 2 life to just remove everyone's fields pretty much, and then also be like, oh, I'm going to use the pay 2 life to draw a bunch of cards. And also keep me within the dethrone so my creatures can get 1/1 counters from dethrone still. That seems like something slight. Yeah, like Doom Whisperer, pay 2 life to surveil 2, or Razaketh, pay 2 life to search for something. Greed, pay 2 life to draw a card. All those seem like really good ways to keep your dethrone active with your creatures. Oh, Valgavoth, Horror Eater. That seems great for your haunted house. Horror of Souls, dude. An Elder Demon in your haunted house, dude. 2 black-red, 4/4 flying ward, pay 2 life. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during your turn, put a 1/1 counter on Valgavoth, and then draw a card. Valgavoth's not going anywhere. And you're just going to draw a bunch of cards. And he's going to get huge. And he has flying. And he has ward. This is perfect in your deck. Yawgmoth, Thran Physician. I was wondering about that one. Oh, well, that was Gix. No, Yawgmoth was on here, wasn't he? Yeah. 2 and 2 black, 2/4 protection from humans. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature. Put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Draw a card, discard a card, proliferate. I mean, that's a fantastic sack engine. Because our stuff just comes back if it had counters on it. So then you can proliferate, sack more creatures. That seems really, really good. Yeah, that's real good in this deck, actually. Damn. Scroll of Fate so we can manifest more stuff. 3 for an artifact, tap it, manifest a card from your hand. Scroll of Fate's very good. In like a blink deck, that's actually nuts. Wow. That's really, really good. This honestly might be a card I consider running into Vol. Just to like cheat out stuff as 2/2s, chump block. Because you can do this whenever you want. Just cheat out something as a 2/2 chump block to get it to grave and then reanimate it on my turn. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. What about that roller coaster? Isn't there like a roller coaster card? No, there definitely is. No. Art coaster? Yeah, the roller crusher ride, dude. Just for the theme. Just for the theme of it. You have to have a roller coaster inside your haunted house, dude. 2 in a red. Legendary enchantment. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player while there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, it does double that damage instead. Whenever the roller crusher ride enters, it deals X damage to each of up to X target creatures. Yeah, it's not good in your deck. Never mind. Because you don't have a lot of non-creature. Oh, but this actually reminded me of something, though. Warstorm Surge is good in your deck. 4 in a red enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power. You could just win a game with this. You could be like, actually, I'm just going to sack my whole board and just let them all come back because they had 1/1 counters and trigger Warstorm. Yikes. That one gets a yikes. That one gets a yikes. If it's haunted house theme, maybe we should look at some rooms. Ooh. But what rooms would be good in this 1/1 counter spirit themed deck? Oh, hold on. Mirror Room would be sick in your deck. Not okay, hold on. Hear me out. How many things? Because it's the triggered ability thing doesn't really. I mean, it kind of works with Dethrone, but it doesn't work with like the whenever something dies because it just comes back once. It's not, you can't have it come back twice. So the double triggered ability thing is still pretty good because like all of your big creatures have triggered abilities, so doubling those are still good. But the 2 and a blue to make a copy of something, that's actually kind of cool because you run like Kayega and stuff. So like you could copy Kari to get her to die to get any of those. You could copy Kayega to get her to die to do any of those. You could copy Kakusho to get it to die. You could copy the other red one. You could copy the black one that reanimates, Junji, Atsushi. Like you could do any of the dragons with the clone part and get a free death from it, which is kind of cool. And if it has a 1/1 counter, you could get probably 2 free deaths from it, which is actually really, really cool. Every deck gets a mirror room. I love mirror room, dude. I think it's great. You just get a free 3-drop clone of like your best thing in play, and then late game it turns into like an absolute unit. Funeral Room Awakening. 2 in a black. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1, you gain 1. That seems good in this deck. Awakening Hall, 6 in a black. When you unlock this door, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh. Ooh, that's a cool card. I like that. I've never read that before. That's great. Kami of the Waning Moon. 2 in a black, 1/1 flying. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, target creature gains fear until end of turn. Ooh, that actually is pretty good in here. Your stuff's gonna be big with 1/1 counters, so then you can just give it some evasion, dethrone, and fear on stuff that's already big. That's actually not bad. I like that. You're loyal. I like that. Create 3/1/1 red devils. When they die, deal 1 if a source you control will deal non-combat. Yeah, we don't care about that. When you unlock this room, it deals damage equal to the number of cards in your hand to target opponent or target creature an opponent controls. 3 and 2 blue, you have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. That one's whatever. That one's whatever. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. In 4 and 2 red, once each turn, you may play 0 rather than pay the mana cost of a spell cast from exile. That's pretty good in certain decks. Not in really this one, but I've never actually read the Warped Space one. That's actually really good. When you unlock this door, search your library for a room card. Yeah, we don't really need it. When you unlock this door, it does 6 damage to target creature an opponent controls. You gain life equal to the excess damage. 5 and 2 black. Access maze. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand by paying life rather than paying its mana value. That's not bad, actually. That's kind of a good bomb card. Do some good stuff with that. Anything else, chat, that we think of for this one before we hop off? Sorry for making this kind of quick, but I started at like 7:40. I kind of ripped the gun on this one. And I've been super ADD tonight. I've been like full energy. I've been wanting to play some games too. I haven't played games in a while, so I've been like ripping through these tonight. But a lot of good suggestions on these ones. Not from me necessarily, but from chat. Chat's always coming in clutch. I mean, like Impact Tremors and stuff is good because you're gonna have a lot of stuff like coming in and out of grave. I think like Woe Strider would do you good in this deck. Just to have like more stuff that sacks. Like Ashnod's Altar would do you good in this deck. Being able to sack to add 2 mana, sack to scry, like anything like that's going to be great with your 1/1 counter interaction that you have in the deck. There's Kolfanor's Urn. Is that the one? No, what's the one that gives any number of things undying or persist until end of turn? Well, I guess that's not what we want. We want undying. Because we want them to come back with 1/1 counters. But that doesn't work either, because if they didn't have a 1/1 counter, is the only way undying works. So neither one of those are that great. Undying and persist aren't good in this deck. That's funny. Yeah. I'm not sure. You got all the bangers. Like when I'm looking at modified stuff, you've got all the good ones here. Any good creature that sacks themselves so you can get their ability twice. Yeah, I'm trying to think what's like a good one that sacks themselves to get twice. Like I think honestly, truly, like running a couple clone effects in this deck just so you can clone like the 6 dragons you run. Because think about having a Junji in play with a 1/1 counter on it, and you play like a Glasspool Mimic on it, and you pay 3 mana to get another Junji, and you sack the Junji with a +1/+1 counter on it to the Legend rule, and it dies. You bring back something with the reanimation death trigger, but then since it had a 1/1 counter on it with Marchesa, the original Junji comes back, and when it comes back, you sack the Glasspool Mimic copy of it, and you get another Junji trigger. I think literally running just a couple of clone effects would be really good, because you can do that with any of these dragons. Kaiga, Kiri, Junji, Kaimi. Like any of these, you can do that with, and I think that's very, very good. Like Glasspool Mimic, I think definitely goes in here, if it's not in here already. Like just so you can have like a land slot that also could be like, oh, I'll just copy one of my dragons and blow it up and go on this crazy chain. Victimize. Sack a creature to get 2 creatures back from your graveyard and to play tapped. Like that seems incredibly good. Sack something with a counter on it, it'll just come back, and then you get 2 more things from your graveyard back. Like... that seems very good. Dance of Many Mystic Reflections. Yeah, 2 blue. When it enters the battlefield, put a token on the battlefield that's a copy of target non-token creature you control. Whenever Dance of Many leaves the battlefield, exile the token. When it leaves the battlefield, sack Dance of the Many. Dance of the Many upkeep. Yeah, literally just 2 blue to make one of your dragons, and then just go on this crazy sack chain with them. Like, that genuinely seems good. Mystic Reflection, if you have a way to make a bunch of copies of a... well, I guess you can do this because this is a token. Dance of the Many and Mystic Reflection to get 2 copies of something. That's always interesting. Oh, or you could run, is it Nanogene? No, Flesh... Flesh something. It's a blue card. Naga Fleshcrafter. 3 and a blue, 0/0. It enters a copy of something. So that this is another one. You run Glasspool Mimic and Naga Fleshcrafter, and I think this deck fires off like crazy. Because literally, you can have this enter as a copy of one of those dragons. Do the whole thing I was talking about where you get like 2 totals of the dragon trigger, and then end it with sacking Naga Fleshcrafter. And then when Naga Fleshcrafter goes to the graveyard, use its renew ability to pay 2 and a blue, exile it, put a 1/1 counter on a non-legendary creature you control, that being one of your dragons, and then turn your full board into a copy of that dragon, and then just blow up all those dragons and get a ton of like if you have Kayega, yeah, your whole board is Kayegas, and you sack them all and you gain control of your opponent's stuff. Like, that seems bananas in here. I'm talking so much I'm hiccuping. That's how good I think this card is. All right. Anything else before we hop off here? Gentlemen? Ladies? Probably not ladies. All right. I'm wrapping it up. Thank you for watching, everybody. 3 Hoenn. We had 18 people in here. Huge shouts out to all of y'all. If you guys aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We're at 16,204. We're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy for you guys. If you're not a YouTube member or a Patreon member, it starts as low as $1. You can submit your decks so you can get your decks submitted on Friday nights, live streams, deck reviews. And yeah, check out the channel. As always, we've got uploads coming out Sundays and Mondays now. So this Sunday, we've got a banger video. I'm really excited about that one. I think you guys will be too. So check out the channel on Sunday at noon. And that's about all I've got to say. I appreciate you guys. Oh, we also have a website now. So if you want to go to nixlotus.com, you can buy merch. I'm wearing the Teneb the Harvester shirt. You can buy some Teneb the Harvester merch. You can use our new Scryfall tool. You can check out some of the community decks. I need to start updating the decks. It's just been extremely busy. But yeah, anyway. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for checking out the stream, as always. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Big ups.